Hello everybody, this is Kirby over yonder, and mean-spirited humor is something very hard to get right. Sometimes when a character is supposed to be a jerk, the writers can go too far with making him seem unlikable. However, in my opinion, the regular show episode, It's Time, is a great example of how to do mean-spirited humor correctly. The episode starts out with Mordecai and Rigby watching the trailer to a zombie movie. Rigby then mentions that he bought tickets for said movie, and Mordecai says that he already got tickets for another movie for him to see with Margaret. Rigby is obviously upset by this. Mordecai tries to ask Margaret to the movies, but he fails. So Rigby instead makes a couple of jokes that actually makes Margaret laugh. Margaret then mentions that she's moving today, so Mordecai and Rigby ask to help. Rigby then tells Mordecai that he's jealous, and Mordecai completely denies it. So Rigby is acting like a jerk here, but it's actually justified because Rigby, has a justification for being a jerk. Mordecai didn't want to go to the movie with him, and instead wanted to go to another movie with Margaret. Rigby spent money on tickets for a movie that he knew Mordecai wanted to see, but instead of thanking Rigby, Mordecai just says, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna go see a movie with Margaret instead." So yeah, I think Rigby is justified to be a jerk. Later, while helping her move, Mordecai tries again to ask out Margaret, but fails twice. So instead, Rigby asks her out to see the movie that he was going to see with Mordecai. Rigby then tells Mordecai that he'll cancel the date if Mordecai admits that he's jealous. Mordecai, of course, doesn't do this, and Rigby is still going on the date with Margaret. This is another reason why I think Rigby being a jerk is justified, because right here, he gave Mordecai a chance to basically end all of this, but of course, Mordecai was too stubborn to do so. So it's basically Mordecai's fault that Rigby is dating Margaret in the first place. We then get some scenes of Rigby rubbing the fact that he's going on a date with Margaret in Mordecai's face. And this scene is a lot more funny than it is mean-spirited because, one, it's so over the top and unnecessary that you just can't help but laugh at it, and two, because Mordecai barely even reacts, so it doesn't really feel like Mordecai is suffering a lot from this. Later, Rigby tells Mordecai that his date is gonna be in 20 minutes, when he realizes that Mordecai stole the battery to his watch, and it could be any time right now. Then Mordecai steals all the clocks in the house. I like how the episode changed from having Rigby being an over-the-top jerk to having Mordecai be an over-the-top jerk. It was very well written, and the transition was very clever. Mordecai then puts all the clocks in the microwave, which causes them to teleport to space, where Mordecai accidentally kills Rigby and meets Father Time himself. This show is weird, man. Father Time then shows Mordecai a montage of times where he acted jealous, and Mordecai then realizes that he has been jealous. Considering how over the top Mordecai's reaction was to Rigby just being Rigby, I do think that him learning the lesson in this episode was justified. Father Time then sends Mordecai back to the start of the episode, except this time Mordecai actually agrees to watching the movie with Rigby, and when Rigby asks Mordecai if he's jealous, Mordecai actually says yes. It's Time is a fantastic episode. Not only does it do mean-spirited humor correctly, but also has a pretty nice message about not letting jealousy take over you, and it has some pretty funny jokes too, like Rigby being upset that the Pajama Sisters are fully clothed. If you want to see a mean-spirited episode done correctly, then watch this. Kirby out.